BTM, and to all Ugandans, wherever you are. Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you. Where you passed, I think it was unusual because you saw some shops closed. Once again, traders are on strike, protesting against the same thing they protested against way back in May, and that is reference. And some other, things they feel they're not happy about as they do their work. President Museveni had promised to meet them, but something that he did not do, which prompted them to strike once again. When we were talking about their hopes that they had in the president, whether he would reverse efforts, for example, personally I was pessimistic. I was like, this is most likely to stay. And I was looking forward, curiously waiting to learn, to see how the president is going to deal with this. And he didn't disappoint me because he didn't fulfill what they expected, which has prompted them to protest again.
Yes.
Where is this likely
I'm
to
just
lead us?
surprised why they have to keep doing this, why they even fail to read the signals. The first meeting the president had with them, he came wearing military fatigue. Okay? And that was a signal to them that to him, he was in combat mode. In fact, he described them as bloodsuckers, bakanywa musai, which has a negative message to send, describing them as negative forces. So to him, their actions symbolize resistance, symbolize rejection. The excuses given for not meeting them, was it yesterday?
Sure, that's when he was meant to meet. He was meant to meet
of
them
course,
on Tuesday.
that is a message sent to somebody you perceive as stupid, because the reason given was venue. How can
Which
that
is
be?
under renovation.
Yes. What if they had asked for
And
harm?
himself not feeling well.
What if they had asked for harm for Nachivo, War Memorial Stadium? Couldn't it be enough, sufficient enough to host them? So that was not a reason enough. But we, in GEMA especially, we think the traders or the business community are failing to read the signals, the indicators of the time. The president is not willing at all, and he has told them so, to resign this decision. In fact, it should have been a decision that he took himself as one of the areas where to collect the revenue from. And we are now already into the budget 2024, 2025.
Sure.
This is an area where they expect to generate revenue from. There is no replacement at all. In fact, it's not coming forth. But if you have been keen to follow developments across the country, you realize the Speaker of Parliament at some event, was this in Western Uganda, saying she's not, she's still here.
Left with one term and then she hands over the man.
Yes, at least for close to 10 years.
Terrible.
She's still here, close to 10 years, right? I mean, if the remaining years on this term and the other term, or 7 years or 8 years, close to 10 years.
7.
And after that, she intends to hand it over to her deputy. See, the battle to...
And she also added, you see, I'm not that kind who clings on power. There were people,
So-
there were people in attendance who are said to be clinging on power. Others actually wanted to cling on power, like her predecessor, the former
Okay,
speaker.
but the message was that, the general message is that the system, they don't perceive it giving way, the entire system. They perceive Ugandans to be in the best economic welfare possible. Even these ones, the traders crying, whoever's wailing, they see Ugandans enjoying the best of their lives in terms of economic welfare, which is really very absurd, because we are now, for them, they are looking up to 20 years and plus, with the population in this economic status, which to them, I think they take themselves to be the standard to measure the progress Ugandans have made economically. Now,
But the traders,
Except,
when you look at these people, the things they're protesting against, as a spokesperson of, you know, a certain political party, whose ambition is also to get in office and lead this country. Of course, you're praying that at one point you lead this country as well. When you look at IFRIS, you know, objectively, is it really a bad idea? Because look, this country needs money. Which money? The biggest source is through taxation. And they're trying to improve effectiveness in collecting this tax. That's why they introduced IFRIS, something that the traders are protesting against. So when looking at things objectively, do you think that they're protesting for a good cause, or they're just being unfair to the economy of this country?
taxes, I don't think that is the biggest source. Well, taxes, they are expecting Uganda Revenue Authority to collect around 32 trillion.
This is the biggest percentage of, when you look at our budget.
But then you look, I mean, this is
Biggest source.
32 out of 72. Okay, maybe you can take it, but still less than average, okay, less than 50%. Now, of course, as GEMA, in fact, this is what I was about to come to, that these people in management of the country do not see themselves giving way except by divine intervention. Okay? Now the question is, does divine intervention work? Is it real? Yes, it is. It's real. And that's why the president himself is anticipating paradise, to go to paradise, isn't it? Yes, he has said so. So the people of Uganda now, the only solution is to keep praying for the leaders, the managers of this country to go to paradise as soon as possible. Yes. Oh. So when they go, what happens? This is the space now for the rest of the country, for a party like GEMA. A party like GEMA, in fact, as of now, the other alternative forces that are seeking to take over management of this country have to start explaining to Ugandans what would they do in situations like this one, where there's insufficient revenue collected, and even then there are all sorts of challenges in gaining it. As GEMA, first of all, you talk about IFRIS. This is a concept. This is a new idea to the people of Uganda. But it's not, Uganda is not the first time to make use of it or to implement it, okay? It's not an absolute.
It's been in use, only that it's been, you know, in supermarkets, factories.
No, even in other countries, it's operational.
Yes, I mean in Uganda.
Yes.
That's why people look at it as something new. That has
But the problem in Uganda is that
which is not the case.
The manner in which it was introduced, see, no idea at all to the people of Uganda, more so the business community.
But
nothing.
The taxing body made it clear that one of the reasons why they introduced this is that we had a big section of traders who were evading taxes. And so we wanted to improve effectiveness.
Right. But any progressive form of tax. In fact, they say it's not a tax, I think it's a means. But for any measure, any policy that is progressive, all the stakeholders have to be involved, have to be engaged before its introduction. But look at the situation here.
You talk about not being sensitized?
Of course. And this is why they claim total ignorance about it, okay? And its effectiveness. And no, they should have prepared themselves the effects of it, what's going to be the changes in their ways of doing business. No, it is electronically driven or even technologically driven. Did they have the equipment?
The devices themselves, traders claim they're expensive.
But
the president said that they can, they can, find a way out.
Poor management, so to say, in short.
Cheaper devices.
Yes. Okay. Before even they look at how they are going to affect. In fact, for them, they perceive it as another form of tax, in addition to other several forms of tax, which is going to totally erode, to totally push them out of business. They don't see a future into this. But that said, Mr. Mwonge, there's a problem in terms of tax collection. The ratio to GDP is still small in Uganda. It's about only 12%, far below the average, the African average of around 16%. That means the way taxes are administered in Uganda, very poor. Maybe the people are not competent enough who are supposed to conduct that role. See, there has to be ways, but still the biggest blame goes to the policies, the official policies of government. We need more tax as a country to be able to finance our own budget, to be able to move towards self-reliance economically, okay? But look at the policies. This is what we have to blame. And as a political party that is seeking to take over management of this country, we have to have an alternative, which we have here. In fact, all parties. This is...
Is that your constitution?
No, it's not a constitution.
What's that, your manifesto?
Yeah, but this spells out what you are going to do. In fact, what you are looking forward to doing after Mr. Museveni has entered paradise. And
briefly take us through that, summarize it for us.
So, but let me first point out the weak areas of the NRM government. First of all, it withdrew from the market for a long time. By doing so, it left the economy into the hands, the private sector hands, completely. That was a very big mistake. You have a problem with privatization? No, we do not have. Think this was a good idea. But what is happening elsewhere, best practices elsewhere, is that government doesn't totally 100% withdraw. And besides that, they said this was not even the NRM's idea. These are things that were imposed on us by the World Bank. Yeah, they are very good at copying. They copied. It was not copying. Copied. But this was the way to go. No, they are still African states and some other. It's not defense. I'm telling you, it's not defense, because look at Kenya here. Look at Ethiopia, and they members don't they subscribe to IMF? They do, all of them, even World Bank. How come they manage to foresee this? See, and not Uganda. What impact has privatization had on our economy that you are not happy with? Yes, when you surrender your economy to the private hands, totally, completely, and then you start claiming, you cannot start claiming. In fact, this is one of the areas we intend to correct. You cannot claim that you are going to create jobs. But those jobs are, you expect somebody to create them, and then you claim that you have created them. What if they don't do it, and this is indeed what they are doing? So in that case, the tax base narrows, becomes smaller, because there are no jobs. For you to be sure and guarantee the citizens of jobs, you have to participate directly, and this is what we intend to do. Uganda after Museveni, we are looking at Uganda after Museveni, because it's now late to change anything. Okay? They are stuck with their own ideas. The government is going to reclaim its companies that it did. No, not reclaiming, but you can even create. We as GEMA, we think we shall directly enter the market and be investors. Government should be an investor. The government is going to do business. Yes, and that way, Museveni's government does not that way you would be able, yes, in fact, for them, they just take from what others they don't believe created. In the government doing business. They are not used to working. That is it. They are used to free things, and this is why corruption is rampant in the country. To them, they think they have a right to access everything free of charge, and that's what they perceive. Although to others, it is looting, stealing. So, is that how you perceive it? Really? No, that is the reality. So, what's going to happen? If government, of course, which NRM cannot do, participates directly in conducting business, in investing. For example, in the tourism sector, those high capital sectors, transport, tourism, okay? We have an idea, for example, Mr. Mwonge, yes, let me mention this, and even if it's one project, a ring road surrounding the capital, but touching the areas, the tourism areas, Entebbe, Nile, this one, Seziwa, go to Mubende, Nakaima, Equator, a ring road.
About tourist sites?
Yes, a ring road, like the one you see Entebbe Express. But this one, going through Entebbe Zoo, Lake Victoria, Nile, crossover to Mubende, crossover to Equator, Masaka Road, back to Entebbe here, that ring road, okay? If all the money we have been borrowing had been invested, and this has been the advice of the central bank, that invest is so that it can generate revenue. But look at the jobs created there. And this is a project, a high capital project that no private sector can take over. No private entity can take over, but government can. That one, imagine the jobs created there. Imagine the revenue coming in by way of tourists coming. Imagine the collections from the road toll there. All those are jobs. And these people who are employed, they are going to be paying at least, those Ugandans, okay? Now, our argument is that instead of deepening, asking the Sechitos, the Casitas, and the rest to pay more tax, pay this and pay this, no, you squeeze them until they have no space for breathing, okay? Instead of doing that, you widen the base, the tax base. The payee, for example, that revenue collected there is going to fill, to fix the gap here we're talking about of the ratio of tax to GDP. For example, Ugandans who are paying tax, about maybe 3 million of them, they are going to multiply twofold to come to 6 million, because potentially about 20 million Ugandans can pay taxes, at least pay. And this comes by way of the policies introduced, established by the party in power, which competence, but I think they do have it, only that politically they think it undermines their political interests. There are other policies they could introduce. For example, minimum wage. Yes. Mr. Mwangi, we have been arguing about this. Minimum wage is failed in Uganda not on economic basis, but political basis. Yeah?
The president gave his justification.
But that one alone can introduce payee subscribers, twofold the current figure. That way you're going to go. You're not going to keep pressing. You're not going to keep chasing. People are not going to keep closing businesses. No, because everybody feels proud to pay tax, and they know that's a citizen obligation to pay tax.
Let us take a very short break, Dr. Swaib. When we come back, I want us to dive into the gist of today's discussion, and that is the Auditor General's report following up on the money they disbursed to you as political parties. I don't know if they saw that report. Yeah, they're saying that you don't put the money in good use. In UP, FDC, JEMA. Let's first take a break. When we come back, he's going to be sharing with us what JEMA thinks about this Auditor General's report.
Discover delicacy at Cafea 2, your all-in-one destination. Whether it's the perfect cup of coffee or a satisfying meal, we got you covered. Indulge your cravings with our mouth-watering pilau, savoury katogo, crispy chips, and tender chicken. Explore a world of cocktails and fresh juices for a truly special treat. Planning an event? Choose Cafea 2 for top-notch outside catering services. Benefit from ample parking, stay connected with Wi-Fi, and catch your favorite matches on DSTV. Cafea 2 offers food deliveries in and around Kampala. Hosting a conference, our center accommodates up to 1,000 people. Need a boardroom for a party or corporate meeting? We've got just the spot for you. We offer a free venue for birthdays and baby showers, providing complimentary photography. For those aspiring to become professional baristas, our barista school awaits you. Visit us at Albany Center, Level 2 on Ginger Road. Cafea 2, where every occasion becomes a memorable experience.
Amannya agange ntibwa Sulaina Nakachwa nga nkola ne BF Suma. Abaami batawanyizibwa obulwadde bwa prostate, tujjanjaba obulwadde bwa prostate enlargement. Otegeera otya ng'olina obulwadde bwa prostate? Okubeera ng'ofuka olumizibwa, okulumizibwa wansi w'olubuto, okufuka omusulo nga gulimu olusaayisaayi, okulumizibwa omugongo, Expaman capsules nti ekuyamba okubeera ng'otambula bulungi mu kisenge. Kugamba amaka ne gabeera nga masanyufu. Expaman coffee naye kuyambako. Tulina product ez'enjawulo kwega zijjanjaba obulwadde bwonna obw'enjawulo. Nti omuntu yenna ali eyo bw'obeera n'obulwadde obukusumbuwa, nkubira ku nnamba zange ez'essimu onyinyonnyole oba ojje tukwataganye. Tulinawo ne baddokita ab'enjawulo. Tulina obujjanjabi obulungi. BF Suma yatuleetera product ennungi ziri nakyo 100% tezirina buzibu bwonna. Tulina branch nnyingi naye nze ndi wano ku Mabirizi. Osanga discount ennungi gye bampa okusobola okutuusaako abantu bange product zonna bonna basobole ozikozesa. Tukola ne delivery bw'oba tosobodde kujja. Ennamba z'essimu eri 0758 69 29 61.
Brighter life, better future.
Every political party in this country that is represented in parliament, it does not matter the number, they benefit from the inter-party organization on dialogue, money. Even if you have one member of parliament like Jema, they also benefit from this money. Now the Auditor General's report was trying to carry out an audit and see how this money is spent by these political parties. In NRM, also the findings were not satisfactory, where they said that some money was spent on paying salaries of support staff and other staff. But again, it was not convincing because some of these staff, most of them actually don't have appointment letters. So it's hard to convince that indeed you spend this money on paying that salaries. NUP, there are so many inconsistencies also. Like I said earlier, they have a lot of explanation to do as regards that money. And I was reading, part of the auditor's report and Auditor General's report. And first of all, the objective they provide, the scope of the audit. Why do they carry out this audit? The objectives of the audit was to obtain assurance whether the funds were used in compliance with laws and regulations of government of Uganda, e.g. PFMA 2015, income tax, PPDA, and that funds were used for the intended purpose. An audit was conducted on the accountability provided by the NUP to the Electoral Commission for funds released by government to the party for financial years 2021/2022, 2022-23, and first quarter of 2023-2024. And the key findings were unaccounted for expenditure, Uganda shilling 730 million, plus, and under sections 10.21, Treasury Accounting Instructions 2017 provide that all imprests/advances shall be retired as soon as the necessity for their use ceases to exist, and in any event within 60 days upon completion of the activity, or by the close of business on the last working day of the financial year in which they were issued, whichever comes earlier. We reviewed cash expenditure payments for various purchases and activities conducted by the party and noted that NUP staff/personnel had not fully accounted for monies advanced to them, totaling to 730,660,000. For details, refer to Appendix 1 of the report. Now, failure to account for advances, this is a risk or an implication. Failure to account for advances within 60 days, that is 2 months, can result to the party failing to achieve the intended purposes for which the funds were advanced, for. In the interest of time, like I said earlier, JEMA is a beneficiary of the iPod money. How much are you allocated?
True, JEMA is a beneficiary, and we are very grateful to the people of Uganda who contribute these funds.
Why not to iPod first?
I don't think it is iPod. These are public funds. They come through the government of Uganda to us.
And this is the arrangement through to get it. Without this arrangement, you wouldn't be getting it.
Yeah, iPod is just a platform.
And actually, as Jim, I think you are grateful for this.
A platform.
I've already seen you participating.
Yeah, actually, NUP is not there. It's not a member, and that tells you that it's outside. It's outside the iPod. It's not.
When did its membership cease?
They haven't actually subscribed. This is outside. These funds,
they benefit from the money.
Yes. These funds come from the government of Uganda through Parliament to Electoral Commission. Now, we are grateful to the people of Uganda who are contributing these funds for their efficiency and running of political parties in the country. Unfortunately, I don't think we are mentioned as culprits in that report. I think our books of our...
By the way, spending money does not raise any queries? You think that the money is spent well in your party?
Yes, definitely they should have audited us because you are recipients of these funds, but I don't think they are raising any issues as regards JEMA. We are very clear on that aspect. We are very transparent on how we spend public funds given to us. But I also think, I want to imagine that this report has no other connotations behind it, because then if you default, I'm yet to learn what happens, what are the penalties are. But you realize we are entering a political contestation that, you need lots of funds in order to conduct your activities across the country, political activities across the country. And in this year, election year, be aware that all parties are supposed to share equally, even JEMA. The total, whether it is 360 billion shillings, will have the parties within the parliament, which have representation, yes, have to share it equally in the election year. And you realize that the election year is forthcoming next year, a few months left when activities...
Although you don't share equally. Of course, we
are supposed. I'm just imagining this is not the reason this report is not coming forth at this point in time, in order to use it as an excuse. Yes, I'm just because everything coming up has to have a trigger. There's something behind that which is not said. Okay.
Oh, are you not being paranoid? Because look, the Auditor General is executing his duty. Making a follow-up on taxpayers' money.
The question is why specifically at this time? Because this has been a practice going on. Yes, I mean there has to be what like you have to know.
Like you said earlier, we are coming closer to another election, so we need to know how
election season. Yes,
you've been using this money that you've always been getting, throughout this term.
Yeah,
is that wrong? Why?
Yes, we are now also asking. Why coming up that is why hasn't it been why haven't these issues been raised in the earlier financial years? Okay, was the Auditor General sitting on his job? Is it the first time he's conducting this? You have to also ask those questions, you see. But all in all, there has to be transparency in how public funds are used. If there are any defaulters, including the party and government. The party and government itself, I think, should have been the biggest culprit. Yes, abuser of this. Yes. Okay. I'm surprised why they have to go that long, that deep about NOP, which is just hardly.
But I already talked about the ruling party, the NRA. Itself also things are not well there, because I already told you how the report was questioning, you know, the way they are spending this money. Although they established that they spent some of this money, you know, clearing the salaries of the employees, you know, within the party, but also the report is questioning that.
Yes. Yes, they are questioning that.
Because these people don't have appointment letters.
You see? So the biggest defaulter in that case should have been the party in government. You see? Those trickeries. You claim to pay Mr. Mwonge, but Mr. Mwonge has no way of disowning what you pay him for. He has no even basis to cause court action if you claim he was paid. No, you also be the one asking, where is your proof that you are my worker? See? So there's a lot of irregularities, there are a lot of lack of transparency in conducting this. And that's what drives me to asking, why dwell so deeply?
Questioning the intentions.
Yes, yes, coming up at this time. NRM himself has been a recipient all the years since the policy was introduced, this one. And they've been taking the biggest chunk owing to their representation in parliament, because it's given according to your in relation or ratio to your representation in parliament. That's why as JEMA we receive only annually $100 million, rather 100 million shillings annually. If the people of Uganda choose, since we are the report is coming up,
and your representation
yes, if the people of Uganda, basing on our cleanness, our transparency into this, has given the report, because the report has not mentioned us. I haven't seen anywhere where, even if they mention us, I think it's in good terms, it's positive mentioning, okay? So upon that, we want to ask the people of Uganda to consider increasing the number of representation in the Parliament of Uganda in the coming electoral season. If at all, anyway, we are going to have elections, but because in that area also there are big question marks whether indeed we are going to have elections. Because
when did you start doubting? Because after every 5
because
years, you go to
the Electoral Commission said,
why doubting this time around?
They say it's too late for electoral reforms to be integrated in their time frame. Okay, electoral time. But
the last
we
time
are saying
electoral reforms was to change the name from. In fact, it's not I don't know what body you're talking about.
And I don't. We
don't have the Electoral Commission in Uganda. We only have the Independent Electoral Commission. So we have the Independent Electoral Commission. This was a reform.
Independent. But did that go through independent? Because sometimes when you call them independent, they feel uncomfortable themselves. They feel like denying.
That's what we have for Stephen Uganda. That's a reform that you're agitating for.
I don't think...
And it went through.
You see, the people of Uganda have lost total confidence in the electoral exercises in Uganda, the way they are conducted. They are far away from an election you could call credible, fair and free, you see? So they are totally disappointed. They don't see the significance of elections, and that's why that forms the basis of our being doubtful.
But isn't that unfair, Dr. Kagwa? Because, look, when you say that Ugandans have lost you said hoping that they have lost interest in the election.
Yes, because
JEMA, right now you have a member of parliament, and right now it would be doubling your efforts so that you can send more representatives in parliament. Ugandans themselves, they have had some people they have elected, voted for in their constituencies going to parliament. They're representing them. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. But at least, you know, they engage in voting for their leaders. What I don't know is whether they are satisfied with the results.
Well, there are those Ugandans, but if you have been studying the trends, last time round, Electoral Commission had just about 18 million Ugandans who are eligible. In fact, who had registered to vote. okay? 18 million registered voters, but only 10 million voted. Don't you ask yourself, why this total 8 million people tend not to come forth to vote on voting day? 8 million, close to 10 million.
Because is that?
So that explains
And that has always been
the
case.
the level of disappointment.
And
Ugandans
actually,
have
towards
now.
the elections, government have seen they have come up with initiatives to encourage people to go and vote. There's this initiative they had, was it called Votability?
Yes.
So it has always tried to encourage people, but it does not.
Lack of confidence in the
seem
system.
to
And now it becomes
favor.
worse when people put forth suggestions to improve the exercise, and they are ignored, totally ignored. In fact, it's a judicial order, Supreme Court, ordering, not even proposing, but ordering government to have these reforms integrated into the system 2 years away from election.
What are those reforms again?
They listed a number of reforms. We also put our suggestions as JEMA, for example. We are advocating for proportional representation.
What's that?
Yeah, proportional representation where candidates do not directly go to campaign, but parties campaign for them. They put, for example, take Busiro County. Busiro County itself has about 5
You
constituencies.
want to have this adult suffrage erased? Not,
Of course.
You want to
well,
a new
this
system
system,
of election.
a new system.
and you think
Which
Ugandans
is
are going to
called-
be happy with it?
Yeah, of course.
This system of
Of
one
course.
man, one vote is the system everybody likes.
No. This one, if you look into it, I think we shall have a discussion about it to go into its details. Ugandans will find it the best. No, it eliminates the
You're
violence.
denying
It eliminates the violence.
Ugandans a chance to engage
No.
in voting.
In fact,
together.
we are giving them opportunity. We are giving even those you perceive to be small formations, political formations, to have a chance of their ideas, their ideologies represented in public offices.
But you're denying some people from exercising their.
Nobody, they will do. Those who have been voting for MPs, for example, this is best practiced at MP level, proportional representation. I was trying to explain it briefly
Okay.
that
Maybe I didn't understand.
in
Does
an
it involve
electoral,
everybody voting?
yes, it's a system of voting, and
How does it work?
it's
Maybe
done
recently.
in so many countries.
How is it
It's
done?
called proportional representation. You get representatives according to the percentage you got. For example, take Busiro County has about 5 constituencies, right? Now, instead of candidates going to vie for these positions,
You mean
the
MPs?
party itself, like JEMA, puts up its symbols on the ballot paper. Okay? The voters come vote for JEMA, NRM, FDC. They
Without
make a
candidates
choice.
campaign.
Yes, without even the portrait of the candidate. You see, that money saved. In fact, you are talking of
The money is
regulating money.
spent in campaigns.
In the
to be
campaigns,
saved.
yes. In that way, even violence reduces. The security agencies' engagements into these things reduce. There's a lot to know, a lot of advantages to
And
pick
the
from
president-
here.
at the presidential
So,
level, how is it?
about 5, I was talking about 5 constituencies. Now, the party that gets the biggest percentage, okay?
Chooses a candidate.
Okay,
A leader from
Yes.
among themselves.
Yes, in fact, you can show the voters the list of your own people who you want to send, for example, to parliament, so that they come tick. Mainly, they endorse you basing on your manifesto, generally. And
The
person
manifesto
going,
of the party, not
yes,
the candidate.
Yes, manifesto of the party.
Do we even have
Yes,
candidates? We don't
yes,
have candidates. We
yes.
just have political
So,
parties.
but there's a list you should have shown to the people within that polity, that constituency, so that they can also have a picture. But again, it's the prerogative of the party among these 5 to say that now you are going to represent this constituency.
The party is going to have its own problem within the party.
No,
The internal conflicts are going to escalate in the party.
no, but
Okay, what criteria are you going to use now to say that, okay, now we are selecting now that Jema, we've, won. And now let's now zero down on endorsing Dr. Kagwa as our, we are saying Dr. Kagwa. How am I going to feel? We're in the same party, and I feel maybe I'm even better than you, but they are choosing you. So,
okay, there has to be an internal mechanism
yes.
of doing that, but also based on who is most likely to be accepted. You have those checkpoints, for example, what is your area?
Machindia West.
Machindia West. So it's not conceivable that you can be deployed then in Wakiso, okay? First of all, it has to be people within there in Wakiso. Okay, Machindia is within Wakiso district, but now talking in terms of constituencies, okay? So those mechanisms definitely have to be there, and that's why you have to show even the list of your candidates to the people within that polity, within that constituency, general constituency. You will find that even the Electoral Commission itself will spend less money. This proposal, this has been put forth by a number of forces, including us, JEMA, even Democratic Party, even the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs himself is into this. I hope, I just heard that he has already done his job in regards to electoral and constitutional reforms, and he has forwarded to the next level. That I hope he included that. So those are the developments regarding how to improve our general elections, and elections remain the best way of creating and changing leadership in the most peaceful manner possible.
Okay. Doctor, I have to get out of here in a parting shot.
Okay. We are telling Ugandans, the traders have closed business. We heard that those in the medical sector, the health sector also put down tools, some of them. We are told, okay, now this tells you the state in which our country is. Somebody has described it as a multi-organ failure if that was a human being, okay? And the people who are in charge of our country are insisting the status quo has to remain at least for the next 20 years, taken from their public statements. But we are telling Ugandans that this country, we own it equally, all of us. Those who are happy, those who are not happy, okay?
We deserve to be happy.
So there has to be a collective action taken.
Which group do you think is
to redeem?
Which group do you think is not happy?
Oh, I mean, you cannot close your business and at the same time claim to be happy. See, this is not picnic for them. They are not in enjoyment at all, but they are looking out for ways of having the situation improved, and it's not coming forth. So we are asking Ugandans that we start focusing on the Uganda after Mr. Museveni.
All right.
Let's start focusing collectively. And the best gift we can give to the president, since he's looking forward to entering paradise, is keep praying for him and his team to hasten entry into paradise. Yes.
Thank you so
keep
much,
praying,
Dr.
keep asking,
Swaib.
keep advising your friends, your relatives every day to pray for our president, so that the process of entering paradise for him can be hurried.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swaib.
So that the space,
thank you so much.
Apparently,
Yes,
the alternative forces have to keep showing Ugandans how they are going to improve the situation, improve it from the current status quo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, our dear viewers. We've come to the end of this edition of the Daybreak. My name is Idrissa Mwonge. I wish you a blessed day. Until we meet again, goodbye for now. See you then.